Ed Crow. I'm going to get us started. I just had to remember to push the record button. So today we're going to talk about the Aetna retail program. It's the Aetna CVS retail program, but as you'll see, they have a lot of retailers actually, not just CVS. But just going to give you an idea of how it works today, just some of the details about it, and how you'd get a store, and what you can expect if you decide to do one of these opportunities. A couple of things before we get started. I do record all the webinars, so everybody on this call will get a recording. I should say everybody that registers will get a recording of the webinar. So we usually do these webinars every Wednesday and Thursday at 1 o'clock. We've been pretty consistent doing them every Wednesday and Thursday for the last few months now, on various Medicare topics. Usually, sometimes we throw in other topics, but mostly focuses on Medicare. So for future reference, if you want to watch a webinar but you can't make the time, just register and you'll get the recording of the webinar. One other quick thing is if you have questions along the way, I will answer them. Like usual, this presentation will be 15 minutes-ish time frame, so it won't be very long. And if you have questions, go ahead and send them into the webinar, and I will answer them or try to answer them at the end. So having said that, I think I'll get us started. So we're going to talk about the program, how you can get a store, the cost of it, and what materials they give you, and then just a few minutes on how to work a store, just based on experience from seeing agents that have been in a retail location that haven't done well, and then a different agent has gone in that same store the following year and done very well. And it tends to be the difference in just how they're managing and what they're doing at the store, really. But we'll touch on that a little bit. Okay, so let's talk about the program. So it's called the Aetna CVS retail program, but Aetna participates with a number of retailers, depending on where you are in the country. But there's a bunch of them. CVS tends to be one of the main focuses of this, obviously, with CVS owning Aetna. CVS owns Aetna, not Aetna owning CVS. But I'll give you, I copied a slide that they have, which shows most of the retail locations that I'm going to show you in a little bit. Unlike Walmart program, when you're doing a retail location through Aetna, it is open year long, so you can be in the store the entire year. They do have a charge to do a store. It's $200, and basically you get a marketing kit for the $200, and that kind of locks you into the store. You can represent multiple carriers at the store, so and they don't have like a minimum either. If you only work with 2 local carriers, that's fine. If you work with a whole bunch of them, that's fine too. So it definitely can represent multiple carriers. And there's no minimum hour requirements. I put but in there. I do get some agents that think they're going to put in a booth, like a card booth at a store, and get some results out of it. You won't. So you really won't. So even though Aetna doesn't have minimum hour requirements, you're going to have to put in time into the store if you want to make it productive for you. So they don't have minimum hours, but you need to work. You need to put time in and have consistent hours for it to work. So, okay, as I mentioned, this program is much less uniform than the Marketpoint Walmart program. With the Marketpoint Walmart program, as a lot of you on this call have seen, they have a list of available stores. They let agents renew them the following year. It's a whole process. We're in round 2 of that process right now. I guess as an aside, really briefly, for those who didn't notice, we did send out a round 2 list of stores. We are sending out today an updated round 2 list of stores, additional stores that agents gave up. So be on the lookout for that. If you didn't see it, there's more stores now on the list. And you can still send in requests to bid on round 2 stores. So anyway, on the Aetna CVS retail program, they don't provide a list of stores. It's up to you to find one. So it could potentially be any of the retailers. So it could be any CVS. So basically what you'd do is you'd find a store and send it to us. You send us your name, your NPN, email, phone number, and the full address of the store location that you want to inquire about. So again, no list. You just find the store and send it to us. Once we get that list from you, we're going to take that or get that from you. We're going to take that request. We're going to send it to Aetna's National Marketing Manager, and that marketing manager is then going to disperse it down to the local Aetna broker manager in that location. So wherever you happen to be, marketing manager will get the store. They're going to distribute it down to the local market manager there, who will then contact you, or you can contact that person if you know who they are, and see if that store is available and if you can get set up in it. So it's a much more casual process. It's not near as official, but it is pretty flexible for sure. And by the way, that store, you would just send that into our office. You can send it to Lisa or Teal with that information, and then we'll send it out for you. You can also go, if you want, you can go to the local broker manager directly. So this is the process they've put in place, but if there's a store you really want and you have a relationship with your agent manager for Aetna in your local area, you can go right to him or her and just say, hey, I want to see if I can get this store. It's going to wind up going to them anyway. So if you know it and you have a relationship, go to it. You can go right to them direct with it. This is one of the many reasons why it's important to have a relationship with the agent managers for the carriers. I say this stuff a lot, but it really is important for things like this. Oftentimes they have marketing dollars available, and if you have a relationship with your agent manager for your local area, you can get access to things like retail locations, marketing dollars, and all of the main carriers have them, even the smaller carriers for that matter. So I mentioned that a lot. I never even did it as well as I should have. I tried to do a good job of it, but certainly all the companies you work with, you should definitely create a relationship with the agency manager for that company in your area. So the store kit, as I mentioned, if you get a store, they're going to tell you got to go buy a kit. That actually isn't mandatory, but it certainly makes it easier to get a store. If you're willing to spend the $200 on the kit, then you can get into that store and it will lock the store up for you. Because if you get into a location and don't buy the kit, if there's another agent that wants that location and is willing to buy the kit, you're going to get kicked out. So that would lock the store up for you, and also you get some things for your $200 too. So with the Walmart program now, the store locations are going to be set. So no longer will you haggle or work with the store manager, the actual manager of the store, with Walmart to find a location. It's a set high traffic location. The Aetna retail locations are still a negotiation with the manager. So you still will want to work with the store manager, build a relationship with him or her to get yourself in a good location in the store. So that's still, it's not a preset thing like it is with the Walmart program. I did notice we had some new people come on. I just wanted to mention, if you have questions along the way, send them into the webinar and we will send the recording out. So here is a list of the retailers that Aetna participates with. So just a couple things to go along with this. You see Walmart's on there. There are a few Walmarts that are independent somehow. I don't really understand the arrangement, but they are, and they don't work through the Marketpoint Walmart program. So potentially you could get a Walmart. There's not many of them, but potentially you could get a Walmart location through the Aetna retail location. So that would be a Walmart store that is not part of the Walmart rollout in the Marketpoint distribution, but it's a limited number of stores, and I certainly don't think any of them are supercenters. But nonetheless, here's the list of retail locations that you can use for the Aetna retail program. As you can see, there's some stores that are very prevalent out west, and some that are really prevalent down south. In addition to this, you could also do different locations that aren't listed here. If you'll pay Aetna for that kit and you can talk to the store and get in, Aetna is willing to let you be set up in a store that they don't even have as a retail partner. So it's very flexible. You could even have an Aetna retail location in a laundromat. I mean, laundromats have been the big thing. They're really popular right now. People want to get into them. But if you can get in at that laundromat, if you can get in at that dollar store, you could do an Aetna retail location there as well. So it doesn't have to just be limited to the store locations that are listed here, or store retailers listed here. Okay, so you basically you're spending the $200 to get the kit. The kit gets you their Medicare Resource Center. So they more or less provide you a literature counter. There's a picture of one there. They'll give you some giveaways and a tablecloth. Ironically, though, they don't give you a table or chair. So you'd have to bring your own table and chair into the store. You'd want to talk to the manager about that. I know what a lot of agents do is they bring like a card table and a chair, put the tablecloth on it, use the giveaways. It definitely would make sense to buy more giveaways and get some from various carriers because remember, this isn't just for Aetna. You can show multiple carriers at these locations. And then a lot of agents work with the store manager to say, hey, can I leave the table and chair somewhere just so I don't have to go lugging it around every time I leave. But this is what the kit would basically look like that they give you, that you spend your $200 on when you get set up in the store. So CVS specifically has a couple different locations. I'm sure a lot of you have been in CVS's. You have a standard CVS, but then you also have the Minute Clinics and the Health Hubs. So some CVS locations have a Minute Clinic, and that's just basically a location where you can go in and see a nurse practitioner, kind of almost like urgent care, but it's specific to CVS as a Minute Clinic, so you can go in there and get basic treatment. Not every CVS has one, however. And then some CVS's are Health Hub locations. So it's a little confusing, but if a CVS is a Health Hub, it's going to have additional or multiple resources. So it might have a Minute Clinic, a care concierge, a wellness room, and a pharmacy consulting room. If you've ever been in CVS's, you'll see that the regular CVS is just a standard CVS. The Minute Clinic CVS has a little area that's kind of like an extra room where you can go to do the urgent care or the doctor's visit. The Health Hub seems to be more, from the ones I've seen, they're more elaborate, and they've got multiple rooms. They're just a bigger, fancier setup, basically. Obviously, locations with a Minute Clinic or Health Hub can be better. They tend to get more foot traffic, and the more foot traffic you get at your location, the better. Before I get to this, I should mention one thing. As far as the payment is concerned, I think I forgot to put it in here. The money you pay, what would happen is you send us the request for a location that you want to get, or you work directly with the Aetna agent manager to get it. Once you get it, then you make payment through Aetna's agent portal. So this isn't something where you're sending the payment through me or Pinnacle or through Crow or Pinnacle. You're paying direct through the Aetna agent portal. So working a store, a few things that just, we have a lot of Walmarts, we have a lot of agents that do retail, and I've just been able to make some observations over the years regarding that. So the biggest difference is the agent in the store. Foot traffic certainly helps. The more traffic you have, the better. But I've noticed huge differences in the agent. And as I mentioned before, I've literally multiple times had a store that an agent has worked in. They've made hardly any sales in it. The next year, somebody else took it, and they make 70, 80, 90 sales in that store. So a lot of it has to do with how they're working the store, and specifically giveaways on the table. If you really think about it, it's common sense. The more snacks you have, the more fun giveaways, the more cool things you have at your table, the more appealing it is for people to come over. Having set hours at the store, stores can be boring, certainly, but you got to put the time in at them. And you got to do things like when you're at the store, notice when you tend to get older populations, try to make notes on when the store is more busy and make sure you adjust and are there during those times. And have set hours. Other ideas for tables, there's all kinds of things. Popcorn machine, anything that basically draws attention and gets people over to the table makes sense. You see some people get really unique with their giveaways. I always thought snacks always help too. A relationship with the pharmacy is big. You want to have a good relationship with the pharmacists. They see people who complain about their drug prices every day. Certainly, if you have a good relationship, they can refer those people over to you. Other just random ideas is I see a lot of agents give out GoodRx cards. GoodRx will send you a batch of them. You can put them on the table. That certainly will help get people over. And location's important, especially with this program, with the Aetna Retail, because there's not a set location. So you really want to try to work with the manager and get yourself in a spot either by the pharmacy counter, not too close to it obviously, but over near the pharmacy, or at least near the front of the store, or in an area where there's good traffic, or the best chance to have traffic. And again, traffic's important, but it's the agent working the store that makes the biggest difference. Okay, so that is the Aetna retail. Again, if you have questions, that's pretty straightforward, so there's not a lot for me to go over there. If you have questions, I'm going to answer them in a few minutes here if you send them into the webinar. A couple other retail questions I just wanted to bring up. People ask me a lot about UHC Walgreens. Yeah, UHC will have agents in Walgreens. Same kind of deal, basically. There's no cost for Walgreens locations, and it is completely controlled by the agent manager, the local agent manager for UHC. So if you want to get into a Walgreens, talk to your local agent manager, and they're the ones who control that. They can get you in there. They're the ones who kind of hold the keys to that. Cigna also does a program. They have a number of retail locations. Same thing, controlled by the agent manager. Mandatory hours for the Cigna locations vary by the retailer that you're in. And the Cigna locations are usually no cost. So again, bottom line, relationship with your agent manager is really important when it comes to accessing stores and locations. If you have questions about Walmart and getting in a Walmart, I mean, obviously we did round one. Round two is going on right now. We have a recorded webinar on that, so if you want, just email us or call us and we'll send you that recording, which is very similar to this, but just as specific to the Walmart program. That is it. Quick run through. Appreciate you attending today. I'm going to see if we have any questions. So bear with me while I take a look at see what we got for any questions here. Okay, couple questions. Somebody asking if I want a store, where do we send it? Yeah, you can email it to me, Edward@CroneAssociates.com. You can send it to Teal at CroneAssociates.com or Lisa at CroneAssociates.com. You could call us, whatever works. Does the location include Target locations? Yes, it can include. So the Aetna CVS can include some Targets. There's been rumors that Target's starting to work on doing something completely separate from that. But I think as it stands right now, we do have some agents in Target. So yeah, you talk to your broker manager about that, or send in a Target, and we certainly can request it for you. Let's see if we have any other questions here. That seems to be it. So I appreciate you attending today. This was recorded, this webinar. We'll send out the recording to everyone. And again, we do these every Wednesday and Thursday. There's no other questions coming in, which there doesn't seem to be. I guess I'll wrap this up for us. And if you have any questions, please give us a call. Thanks, and have a great day. All right, bye.